Hi, welcome to the podcast. This is Living La Vita Loca. My name is Faz.
And I'm Rich. Did you forget your own name?
I was questioning who I was for a while there.
Did you nearly go with a nickname for yourself?
Another nickname.
Another nickname for yourself?
Rich Faz. Oh, I wish I was.
Mega Faz.
Yeah, Mega Faz. That's great. Yeah, like a mega evolution of me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Faz plus one.
I imagine I'd be like at least 6'1".
Because that's the main thing.
Just, really getting up there in height. Where are we anyway? Hi. So we just decided to wait. I've just walked straight into Rich's house and I'm like, let's podcast just immediately. We haven't even thought about it. There's no planning to this. It's chaos guaranteed.
We genuinely don't know what each other have played this week as well.
Yeah.
We probably should mention that.
Even better. Brilliant.
I'm quietly convinced we picked the same thing.
Yeah.
And I've been paranoid all week.
You really are.
I'm genuinely convinced we picked the same thing.
There's no way. We've got too many different gaming tastes and difference in consoles, and yeah, I'd be disappointed if you'd picked what I picked.
Yeah.
In you, that is in I'd be disappointed in you. That is in you shouldn't be playing the game
right
that I'm playing.
Noted.
I expect more of you, basically.
I'm ready. I'm ready for
ready
this.
to disappoint me.
Just walk in, slap your 8% beers on my table and start recording.
Yeah, so, we'd talk about the beers. So I bought a couple of what I'd say newer lines of Brewdog that have just come down in the shop I reside in. And one of them, which we couldn't not have, is called Arcade Made. And it says it's a coin-operated beer. I don't know what
that means.
Yeah. I don't know what is going on. But all I know is...
I suppose you gave them coins in exchange for beer.
Maybe. But I just don't understand. So I get, the other one we've got is a Palm Beach, which is a Pina Colada IPA. Right, okay, that makes sense. Tropical ideas.
Yep.
Why this beer specifically has got anything to do with gaming or arcade, I have no idea. But at the same time, it is a double-hopped IPA, which is like my favourite beer, and it tastes amazing. So
it
is incredible. So, I got these on the 4 for 3 deal, and they are worth having. So yeah, we're probably going to get a little bit drunk. I'd say just have 2 drinks, just because it's quite strong stuff, and it tastes incredible. I mean, we're probably going to drink this in like seconds. So, anywho, so this is the start of hopefully a monthly thing, we're thinking.
Yeah, I reckon so. Yeah, tail end of each month, we'll just wade in, play what we want, and then have some vague talking points loosely associated to it.
To gaming.
And
hopefully.
Then we'll carry on with our lives.
You make it sound like a conjugal visit or something.
Genuinely, it's a gift. I can suck the joy out of anything. I'm like, those little sachets they put in like certain like weirdly dried foods to keep them dry. I'm like that sachet. I prevent things being damp and joyful.
Wait, I'm thinking. I thought you meant like a sauce in a noodle packet.
Dry things like
silica.
Yeah, almost. I guess.
Right. Okay.
I'm like silica for joy.
I mean, I was thinking you meant, like I said, sauces for noodles, which I never put in. Like, really? Do you ever put? I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't put the mango in the curry pot noodle.
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, I want the curry flavour.
I'm a saucy guy. So.
Yeah, well, that belies the silica, then, doesn't it? That is insane.
I'm also an enigma.
I think you partake in too many small packets of things. That sounds weird also. That also sounds odd.
I don't actually buy real-sized food.
Well, I do have, from my times at Marks and Spencer's, they brought out this thing called Little Shop, and it was meant to be kind of, I guess, for children to feel involved in shopping again.
Right. Like little trolleys and stuff like that.
Yeah, so like a little trolley, but you get like little Marks and Spencer food, and they are very cool, that is in. So I think they kicked a bit of fuss at the time, though, because they're made of plastic, and everyone's like, oh shit, you can't do that anymore, mate. But they're also very robust, though. They're not like, I imagine they will outlast me. significantly, these little plastic goods. So
That's probably the problem, though, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah, exactly. I'll take them with me. For that new, what is it? The new way you can
Just get buried with them like a pharaoh.
Well, yeah, but
It's like archaeologists in
Hang it round my
centuries
neck.
to come will be like, this man was wealthy in tiny food goods.
have you not read in the news this week about the new cremation but with liquid situation that is over in America and Canada? So the UK are bringing it in where you basically just get melted in acid, really, but your bones remain. So I'll take them with me in there, and I assume that'll take them out.
Yeah, but you assume.
Yeah.
Imagine your loved ones having to deal with a pile of bones and tiny foodstuffs.
Why are the ashes rattling? It's like a little fake bag of clementines.
He went the way he lived, like an absolute killer.
Really poorly for the environment. Oh well. Where were we? Anyway, so the beers are good, and we feel pretty good about them so far. So, as Rich alluded to, we hopefully will get this going as a monthly thing. We're really excited about it. It's a mystery to each other. And there's a little bit of a twist. I'm hoping we kind of do a bit of where, for example, if I review a game, then Rich will score it based on the review, and I'll have a number in my head that I'm hoping that you'll hit. And that's going to go down on our records, our really important records to us. Like, that spreadsheet is...
Yeah, that spreadsheet. It's a thing.
I'll bury that with me somehow.
Print it off and... Yeah.
The cloud. The cloud's going to go down with me. So, my Google Drive. So hopefully we'll do something fun with that. Like you said, just a few tidbits around the game. Again, we don't know what we're going to talk about. I've kind of come up with a little thing around my game, and I'm sure you have about yours. Mm-hmm. So, we're going to roll with that and see how we get on.
See what happens. How do you want to do it? Who wants to go first?
I don't want to go first.
You don't? Okay.
No, I'm terrified of going first.
All right. Yep.
Finishing first, going first.
I'll go for it.
What is it? First the worst, second the best, third the one with the hairy chest.
Yep.
That's me.
I'm fourth the golden eagle. So I don't know where that came from, but that was the one that always did the rounds at school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't remember a fourth. Maybe we just didn't have 4 people.
I mean, they may well have made it up, but anyway.
Got it.
So, as I've got in my notes here, I have played the fucking Lion King.
Yeah! That's brilliant!
We are doing this.
Yes! That's awesome. Oh my god. I'm so glad you went first, just like for impact. That's brilliant.
I'm also assuming from that reaction that you have picked something different.
Yes, I have picked something different.
Thank fuck.
Yeah, so that's... I feel joyful right now.
Well,
I feel like... Fuck off, Silica boy, over there. Like, as in, anti-Silica. Like, you're presenting me with joy.
Well, I feel like
packet.
kind of like the Call of Duty review. I feel like this is more going to be like therapy than
this is going to be
anything
so
else.
much fun. Oh,
right. So,
some more questions.
Yeah. I mean, shall we start with your questions?
Well,
because I mean, my notes are in no order whatsoever.
Did you complete it?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
In fact, that is a good place to start. So, it's supposedly a kids' game from about 1994. Ties in with a film, obviously.
Yeah.
So
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, you may well have done. From a little production company called Disney. They'll be big one day. You mark my words.
Yeah. Racist, right?
A little bit. Yeah. So it's part of like a clutch of games that they did with like Westwood and Virgin and stuff like that. And a big emphasis was using the clout of the 16-bit consoles to like replicate closely like the animation style of the films.
Yeah.
So they went to a lot of effort to get the animators to draw some frames of animation and then turn it into pixel art. So graphically, it looks great. When it wants to, it can look really, really good. Certainly like the second level where it's doing the, just can't wait to be king motif, like the colours and stuff like that looks great.
I need to stop. I just need to stop just for how excited I am right now. I'm giggling like
what's
an actual
happening now,
schoolgirl.
right, is I'm getting the positives out the way. You're on the roller coaster. You're heading up to the top bit.
I mean, it's still just the fact that you've done this to me. That it's so exciting that this series that we're going to do, this monthly play, is just going to go downhill from here because nothing can beat this.
I really feel like I've peaked. So, did I complete it? No, I didn't complete it because it is infamously hard, right? And you know, there are a bunch of reasons for it, and if you don't have to look far on the internet to find either legit theories or conspiracy theories, ranging from, well, the game sometimes randomly misses inputs to like the second level where you have to go and like roar at monkeys to turn them around and get bounced in a certain order, and then you're riding on an ostrich and you got to go high or low and stuff like that.
Ostrich,
like and
trying to jump over the nests.
Nests and tiny little like baby hippos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you can barely see. The first set have arrows to guide you, and then after that you're on your own and you've just got to read it. You add in some like really iffy collision detection between Simba and like anything.
Yeah.
Like platforms and anything.
Yeah.
You know, that some of these theories say that all of that was in place to make sure that nobody could complete it in a single rental period.
Okay.
So you would have to go and either buy the game or rent it again to play more of it and get better at it and go through it.
I'd say that sounds like a fair theory. Possibly.
Yeah,
it might just be a badly made game.
Well, there was one... believe it or not, like there was a few points touched on in a speed run that was in Frame Fatales that the Awesome Games Done Quick people did 2020, I think. Annoyingly, they managed to complete it in about 13 minutes.
Wow.
Complete the game in 13 minutes. And they did some like level skips and stuff like that. But they went to they pointed out that for all of this, you know, talk about why the game is hard, ultimately, you kind of get the sense that it was rushed. And as a sort of mid-90s movie tie-in, I could see why that may well be the case. Between that and the whole like emphasis on animation, like there are times when you just want to move the fucking lion and he just won't do what you want him to do because he's too busy like putting his left paw down or whatever. It's like, you've still got 3 other fucking legs, Simba, jump, you bastard. And it's just like, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. It's in keeping
with Simba's character, who is notoriously a shit as a child. Like, you know, he
does what he fucking wants.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just, you know, spoiled prince wank bag, basically.
I blame the parents, frankly.
Wow.
Yeah, Mufasa, you fucking heard me, right?
You really came after them there. Yeah, probably did spoil them a little bit, didn't they?
Yeah. Anyway, so when I was playing it, I started on the Mega Drive version. For 'tis the only version I have. And I was playing it on like one of those kind of HDMI clones of a Mega Drive, so not like original hardware.
Yeah.
On an HD telly with a wireless controller, all that kind of stuff. And I got to the point where I was like, is it lag? Have I introduced like a lot of input lag on this? And I'm just not being able to control him between that and the self-indulgent animation. So I toggled with some settings and like switched it to like the American mode and switched to like a wired cable and all that kind of stuff. And I could sort it a little bit, but changing difficulty, weirdly, like Simba seemed to feel a bit more responsive on easy. And I don't know if that's just psychological on my part or if that was actually a thing.
Yeah.
But either way, I made a bit of headway with it and I got a little bit further. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I'm not good enough. I'm simply not good enough. I've been playing this game since I was about fucking 6, right? So we're getting on for about 30 years of practicing this game on and off. And I still can't get past like level 3 consistently. And even then, I was only able to fucking consistently get to level 3 this week. Right? And so like, this is why this is such a source of frustration for me, this game, because it is my first gaming love. Right, I distinctly remember, like, of a morning saying to my mum, "Oh, can I play my game before school?" and stuff like that. Yeah. And occasionally, you know, if I was really, really lucky and we had a bit of time, it'd be like, "Oh yeah, go on then," and I'd play it. And I realise now that was partly because I knew I'd be fucking done inside of about 10 minutes because I wouldn't get past level 2.
Speedrun it. Where to? Level 1.
I can do that. So yeah, it sits in a weird place in my sort of gaming history. And I thought, you know what, like, I've got to, by hook or by crook, I've got to try and do something. So it turns out there's some cheats you can do for it.
I think, yeah, okay.
So this was a bit of a revelation for me because I'd never really dabbled with anything like that. There's like a cheat mode which is nearly invincibility. Nearly. Because environmental hazards can still kill you. And considering the number of instant death jumps in the game, you can still fail by the end of level 2, even with invincibility on. So you can be like this fucking Terminator lion cub and still die quite often.
Just there falling down a gap, and you're like, I expect it to come back out because he is invincible, right? It's just going to crawl back
just
out.
Wait. So not only that, but like to continue this theme of like nearly but not quite, there's a level select as well. And you can go through, you can pick your level, play through it.
I've never seen the later levels of Lion King.
Yeah, exactly.
What do they look like?
Well, you're grown up.
Really?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Why did I not think that would happen?
You have seen the film, right?
Yeah,
spoilers for 1994.
I could have also have seen the game at any point in the
right.
But I just
so there is a big caveat with that, right? So like you can like attack with your claws and stuff when you're older and all that, and you basically spend a not insignificant part of some of the levels trying to like beat up fucking panthers or whatever they are. But
Bagheera?
yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's the multiverse that you never knew you needed. But the problem with the level select, falling into this nearly but not quite category, and I read this somewhere, and I think it might be true from my dabbling with it, is that you will play that one level you selected, then you will have one of the bonus rounds where you're playing as Timon trying to pick up bugs.
Yeah.
Then it'll go back to level 2.
What?
So it'll basically only replace level 1.
Oh, right, okay. Fair enough.
With the level you've selected, and then you have to play from level 2. Level 2, again! Always level 2!
It's where I live.
It's beautiful and infuriating.
Can we take a quick Lion King break, to talk about Lion King songs and Lion King theatre? Have you been to the show?
I haven't. No.
Have you not?
No, I'm pretty sure if I did, I might get some kind of like flashbacks and have a moment in the aisle or something like that where I end up curling into the fetal position and crying.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
That's fair. No, I just yeah, it's been like 3 times. Yeah. Yeah, like 3 times. 3 times.
3 times.
Yeah, 3 times. Yeah.
3's like 3.
Yeah. Surprisingly so.
Yeah.
And I remember like seeing it at a theatre in Manchester for like the 3rd time after sitting in London a couple of times and being the most squashed in. You wouldn't be able to curl up in the aisle because you can't get down there. Like you'd have those those binoculars digging into your sort of hip, maybe 20p binoculars get to theatres.
Yeah.
But I think level 2 music, Just Can't Wait to Be King, is my favourite Disney song. Which
it's good.
It's bloody brilliant, and I really love that song. But now I'm thinking about it, that could be someone's own personal hell, like as in being stuck in that level, forever.
So
with that music playing.
This week I found out that it's quite a long loop, but as you get towards the end of it, it adds in some like really loud percussive bits, and then gets to the end and like peters out. So yeah. It drills into your head, that one. But I also like at the start of the level how it gives you a really clear hint to just roar at monkeys, whereas none of the other levels just tell you what to do.
The roar's really pathetic as well, isn't it?
The roar is pathetic.
It's weird.
So I wasn't making much headway, I think is the short answer to all that. So I hopped on the PS4 version, where there are some like quality of life bits, like save states. There's a rewind feature and stuff like that. So I managed to get up to, I think it was level 5 or 6. I made headway.
Okay.
I got to Hakuna Matata.
Oh wow.
The problem with that is that on that level, there's like the Lion King equivalent of like you remember the Travelator on Gladiators. So like
we should stop there because we have got some American listeners.
American Gladiators was a thing.
But I'm sure it was, but did they have a travelator? And did they call it a travelator?
Yeah, good point.
And if they
Good
didn't
point.
call it a travelator,
What the hell did you call it a travelator?
What is a travelator? An uphill escalator, flat escalator, treadmill? Uphill treadmill.
Yeah, basically a really long one. Or like, if you're at an airport or a really big shopping centre, you've got those moving walkways. Like one of those up a 45-degree incline. And
the most fun ever.
Yeah. Basically a lot of effort to not get very far.
Yeah.
Much like this review. So on this level, you get to a point where you get to a waterfall with all of these logs rolling down it. You have to jump up the logs, get to the top of the waterfall.
Makes sense.
That's
really
how
you do it.
Doesn't.
That's how you do it. Crash would do it.
Yeah. I started hopping on these logs, using the rewind feature like as needed constantly. Like it was genuinely difficult to watch at one point. It was that nauseating, like scanning backwards and forwards. Spent fucking ages jumping on these logs. And I was like, you know what? I've got to give my thumb a rest now. Like, found a platform, hopped off, realised it was the platform I'd started on. And I'd been there for maybe about 5 or 10 minutes.
Wow.
Basically just maintaining my level. So, like, clearly there's a trick to getting up there. I honestly could not tell you what it was. Huh. And I was just like, you know what?
You were done.
I'm going to go play Doom Eternal to wash the taste out, Like, and it's a weird one because, like, despite my best efforts and despite cheating, I still can't beat this fucking game, right? And
save states, rewinds, saves.
I gave myself every advantage, and I still can't beat it.
How crazy is that? Like
I genuinely.
I wonder how many people in the entire world have completed The Lion King.
Yeah, I would love to know. I would.
It must be minimal.
Well, yeah, I think so. And yet, it still has that really like revered place in my personal gaming history. So it's a weird one. And like not only that, but with like the PS4 version, you get there's like a museum mode, right? And it's paired up with like Aladdin, and you can get the Jungle Book either as a newer version of the physical release or as DLC for the older one. And they've all got like museum bits where you can get some like behind the scenes snippets, and there's one particular guy gloating about the animation, how we want to make it feel like there's some inertia, and if a cat is mid jump it's not going to change direction mid air. It's like, well, you're the idiot that was like, you know what, let's make him spin around a fucking bone pole and then do fucking somersaults. Like, you're honestly telling me a cat's gonna actually a cat might do that, but it's not the fucking point.
You've got a cat that does it all the time.
Not the point, animator man.
I've seen Sunset downstairs in the elephant graveyard.
She'd just sit there looking serious. So what was particularly galling about all this is that there's on the PS4 version, there's also the SNES version of the Lion King.
Okay.
On that version, they have a mode where you can watch the game being played and then hop in. That does not exist for the Mega Drive version. So
really? Right,
yeah,
okay.
it's sorcery. But yeah, you basically watch the game being played, and then you can just hop in. It's like a rolling sort of save state replay thing.
What like back on the SNES? You had this back in the day.
No. That's just for the modern console version.
I was so like, how can that have even been
just on the PS4 version? Yeah. No,
You've never seen me look so shocked. I almost got that weird liquid cremated there.
You just melt like at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Chose poorly. Like, oh my days.
Yeah, no. So just the modern versions, but not for the Mega Drive. So even with that fucking potential advantage, I couldn't even make any headway. So yeah, that's basically it. It was just a lot of effort for no real tangible progress. Don't get me wrong, like I feel like I've learnt some of the game, right? I would, if I sat down with it now, I'd feel more confident that I could get further than I ever could. Yeah. But my God, that effort has been like hard earned. And like how any child back in the day would have even got close to finishing it, I do not know.
You are an accomplished gamer in your mid-30s. You've played games for a long time now. You host a gaming podcast, and you're still struggling to beat a game that you had cheats for and
Yep.
saves for. I think there's something wrong with the game. It's my feeling. I don't think it's a you problem.
So, funnily enough, that's actually like the last point I've got in my really disorganized notes. Is that we've got
Palm Beach.
We've got the PS4 version. We've got these bells and whistles. We've got a museum mode. We've got this, that, the other. Why?
Ooh.
Fucking why did they not take the opportunity to remaster or remake this fucking game and actually like apply a bit of TLC, a bit of spit and polish to like make it a little bit more friendly? Like it just, if you're playing it on easy mode, right, and you've got invincibility on, you have 8 lives and you will still go through them because you'll fail to like grab a tiny ledge or something like that. And it's things like that are just like, at times it's so needless because the area you're aiming for is so small. You've got to be so precise. Don't get me wrong, I've nothing against precision, having to learn a game and all that kind of stuff. But crikey fuck, like that could have been massaged a little bit with a re-release, like a little bit of tweaking around the edges. I feel could have gone a long way.
Maybe we need to build the re-release of Lion King.
The spiritual successor to the Lion King.
I mean, there's definitely a Lion King 2 and 3 film that no one straight to video that no one's ever seen. But maybe we should do that. Maybe we should do those as a sort of sprite-based.
I don't know. I feel like having a crack at, I don't know what, the Tiger Regent or something.
Oh man,
the Leopard Duke.
Leopard Duke. Oh, that sounds like something that is the name someone gives themselves when they go to the local pub every Friday. That is it. Here comes the Leopard Duke.
The Leopard Duke. Don't mess with him. He's seen all sorts.
He's been down the elephant graveyard a million times. So
go on then, score me.
Score me
Go
on
I
that.
fucking dare you.
It's so difficult because now, I have to take all your childhood and adulthood hopes and dreams of a game that is almost just frustrated you but beguiled you for 30 years. That's difficult.
Yeah, distill that into a number.
Yeah, I will, arbitrarily. Yeah. So, you clearly love the experience, you love playing when you're younger, and you... but then the infatuation from the game doesn't maketh goodeth gameth. So
I definitely feel like this is one of those ones that the objective and the subjective scores would be quite different.
Yeah, but we're trying to do which score?
I mean, I'm very rarely objective, and I'm okay admitting that.
And Faz definitely knows the difference between objective and subjective, so that's going to help. Right, straight up, 5 out of 10 for Lion King. Whichever way that pains you. I feel like that's probably just 2 in the middle for it to be something that's like...
That is very on the fence, isn't it?
Well, it's not meant to be, though. I feel like that is... You are recommending people to play that game, but there are many flaws with the game that drag it down from the heady heights of 7 out of 10.
So for my number, I sat here and I started talking with a number in mind. Now I've finished my tirade because it's not a review.
Seem livid right now.
I've got a very different number in mind. So I would give it 2.
Wow.
I would give it 2, and it's the worst game that I love to bits. Right?
Yay.
I think that's how I pitch it. Which brings me to my talking point. So movie adaptations, right? Sort of top 5 movie games.
Okay.
So with this little list that I've got, I've been strict with myself, and I've made sure there's not like Lego Star Wars isn't in here because it spans too much stuff. I've tried to focus on games that adapt one film. And there's also no spin-off stuff, so no RoboCop versus Terminator, which is a shame because it's great.
Yeah.
So a couple of honourable mentions though. Enter the Matrix is in there. Bit of a spin-off, but kind of the first time I'd seen that sort of game attempting to do a sort of parallel narrative to a film.
Yeah.
Tried playing it the other day. It is clunky as hell. It's not aged well at all.
What's the protagonist that you play? Is it
Niobe?
Niobe,
and
yeah.
Ghost.
Yeah, Niobe and Ghost. And all I remember is seeing my friend Betty, who went slam dunk with, just constantly doing that side flip. Constantly. And I'm like, is this fun?
Is this the game?
Is this
fun? Hercules on the PS1 gets an honourable mention as well. Okay. I didn't really play it that much, but my sister absolutely adored it. And I think, like, having gone back to The Lion King and having recently sort of seen Hercules in motion, I think the PS1 era was where the technical ability and the kind of ambition for the animation actually started to line up a little bit.
I remember, like, Aladdin, for example, like as a Mega Drive sort of, that game, like you say, that same era with The Lion King and things, and that being quite, I don't know if it's as difficult, but it's certainly been difficult as well, and feeling the same sort of clunks.
Clunks is it, yeah. The other honourable mention I wanted to give was for Splinter Cell Conviction, because in my head, it's got the bones of what could potentially be the greatest John Wick game of all time.
Wow, I've not played it. I've not played that Splinter Cell. I played the first... When was it when Sam Fisher had the skinned head? Is that
it's when somebody had clearly watched too much 24.
All of a sudden, and I was like, wait a minute, where's Pandora Tomorrow gone? Like, bring back the original Splinter Cells, please.
So it's more like it's a kind of seek and destroy kind of thing. Like, you just have to take everybody out on the way. But like, there's a lot of quick reactive stuff, like melee takedowns and then shooting people, like groups of people from miles away. I went back to it to test this theory and it doesn't hold up. It's too fucking slow and my head remembers it way faster. But I'm telling you, if anybody ever wants to make like rather than John Wick Hex, which is a kind of strategic thing, if they want to make an action orientated John Wick game, I'm telling you, Splinter Cell Conviction is where you get your inspiration from.
Okay, cool.
So my actual top 5 list, Aladdin and The Lion King are both in there. You mentioned the Mega Drive one.
I didn't mean to...
No, that's all right. That's why I stayed quiet. But yeah, it's exactly that. It's the kind of start of this kind of Disney animation thing. And yeah, I played both of them a fair bit. I rented Aladdin quite a lot, but Lion King was always, my go-to one. GoldenEye's in there. Unfortunately, like weirdly, it's kind of so obvious that it was last to get put on my list. Because I'd kind of forgotten that GoldenEye was a film.
That's great though, isn't it?
Yeah, in my head it's almost transcended and just become like, oh, well, yeah, whenever I think of GoldenEye, I think of the video game, not the movie. Even though,
GoldenEye is one of my favourite Bond movies.
Yeah, same. And yet.
yeah, exactly. You think about it, and when someone says GoldenEye, I didn't even own an N64, but... Brian, who used to live across the road from me, like he did, like, and I used to and I had a PS2, so we used to kind of have flip flops across the road to kind of go and play whatever. But yeah, and I remember just like literally being like sort of the same sort of thing with your mum or whatever, like before school, like he lives 10 meters away. I'm just gonna go to see Brian. We're gonna go walk to school together. Like he only lived there for like a year, but it was like. And then it'd be like, right, okay, yeah, fair enough, that's fine. Get there at like 8 o'clock. Like you didn't have to start walking till 8:25. You knew fine well there was going to be at least 17 minutes of GoldenEye in there. It's like
excellent work. Spider-Man 2 was another one that got on my list. I played that to bits on the GameCube, and yeah, free roaming Spider-Man insanity. I think it was like, I don't know if it was the first sort of free roaming Spider-Man game, but it was definitely one of my favourites early doors.
So I've never played any Spider-Man games.
You almost sounded like you were going to start crying.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like I might have to. Because obviously, from what you see, in terms of almost like, is a game that is marketed by Sony as such a big thing for the PS4, PS5, and then like you say, the originals, I know they were really well reviewed at the time. I watched my friends play them. I never owned them. Went to see Across the Spider-Verse last night with Liam, and it was fucking incredible.
Oh,
such a good film. That is I couldn't believe how great it was. The animation was stunning. Story was amazing. And I've said already, that slots in at favourite Spider-Man film immediately.
Right.
Yeah, and I know you kind of get that vibe after a film or your movie. Sorry, whoever you are. Like within that first 24 hours, you go, oh, like, as in you might over egg it, or you might say, oh, I loved that or hated that. Yeah. But I genuinely know, that was just incredible, and you don't need to worry about saying that. In 6 months' time, you won't be regretting that. It's just, it was wonderful. So, sorry, I just had to mention that.
No, that's all right. But the Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube, I got it more recently for the PS2 because I kind of missed it. But yeah, like, it holds up. It's not great, but like it was one of those weird ones where, like, nowadays I think you're much less likely to get a game that directly ties into a movie. It's going to sit more as a kind of parallel Enter the Matrix style kind of parallel narrative type thing at best. So yeah, it kind of feels like they're a bit of a dying breed, or have died really, which is probably for the best because they're generally crap movie games, aren't they? However, this brings me nicely to my all-time favourite like video game, like movie tie-in, X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, right, okay.
And for the simple reason that that's the only one I can think of that is way better than the film. Yeah. Like, the film is awful, right? Like, it's crushingly bad.
Yeah.
The game had a lot of heavy lifting to do, but actually pulled it off, and it's fun.
Yeah. That's
and it's rated 18. It's a Wolverine game that's rated 18.
Wow.
So
that's interesting that it was so much better and different compared to what
it was a fair bit different as well. But yeah, it had a big job and pulled it off.
I mean, to have the Deadpool retcon that they've pulled and managed pretty well, if you ask me. Like, it's pretty incredible that they've managed to do that. Like, yeah. I mean, I respect most X-Men films, but I feel like that's one of those weird franchises where everyone's like, for some reason, there's this sort of such a massive love of the X-Men. I don't mean that from like, oh, you shouldn't love the X-Men, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like I think people look really fondly upon the whole franchise.
Yeah.
Whereas actually, I only really think, in my heart of hearts, it's like X-Men 2, Logan, and after that, I'm kind of scrabbling around the dirt. First Class. I read it First Class. And I know people really like Days of Future Past. I like First Class more, but that is out of like, say, 10 films, there's like 4 that are like, you kind of go, oh, they're really good. And usually when that's like a franchise, you kind of go, that's probably not enough, but still people come, and I know Deadpool kind of counts as well, I guess, really. But yeah, speaking of felines that you'd find sort of hovering around the jungle, Sunset the cat has just roamed into the room. Probably heard us talking about Lion King. What would you give it? Wag of the tail. How many wags of tail? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too high already. 6.
Is it because it stars a cat?
7, 8, 9. 9 out of 10. 9 tail wags out of 10 for the Lion King.
Is ridiculous.
It's pretty.
It's what happens if we haven't got thumbs.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you probably have as much chance playing the Lion King without thumbs as you do.
She probably plays it better.
Yeah.
And she's protesting my previous comment by destroying the carpet in the corner of the room.
Smash your head against ABC on the Sega controller. Right, cool. So, okay, over to me, I guess, then. And my game was from, I guess, the mid to late 90s. And I played the PlayStation 1 game. And it was Overboard! Or Shipwreckers in America. And yeah, see, I told you it was going to take a total dive compared to it's like the emotive sort of like, thread of story, but to go from like this thing that we've talked about during the podcast the whole time and stuff, and something that really is seminal to us. And yeah, I'm just like, I just picked a game. Just picked a random game.
I don't know if I've heard of this one.
Which is great. That's really what I want. So, Psygnosis is the developer.
Okay, yeah.
/ Studio Liverpool. which is kind of why I picked it up, really, because they're one of my favourite developers. And we'll come back to that towards the end. That's kind of like part of my tidbits around this game. But they are one of my favourite developers, it seems. I didn't realise that until I realised how many games that I have of theirs or played of theirs and go, I really love this developer. That in this studio has brought loads of games that I love. So we'll come back to that towards the end. But yeah, they certainly, I thought, well, I didn't realise this was by them. And a pirate adventure game, a bit of a sort of top-down view of a ship. Sort of, what would you call it? Almost like a third-person shooter, but you are a pirate ship. It's like
third ship shooter.
Yeah, third ship shooter. So, point number one: bloody love pirates. I love pirates. I love the idea of pirates.
Strong point.
The concept of piracy. It's just like, I'm talking obviously like 1800s and stuff not like you wouldn't piss in a policeman's hat, steal a DVD, not those kind of pirates.
Good luck explaining that joke to anybody listening in America or Canada.
But the kind of pirates that you would see sailing around the Caribbean and just chilling out, getting scurvy, dying, all that kind of stuff. It's just I don't know.
I just like the thought of someone like Blackbeard sat there back when going, I love the concept of piracy.
Have you watched, what's it called? This is going to be really annoying for a podcast now.
Thinking time.
This Is Our Flag, or is it This Is Our Flag? Oh, Taika Waititi and Rhys Darby. So it's one of their sort of things, yes. And it was on iPlayer, BBC iPlayer recently. There's 2 series of it, and it is excellent. I recommend wholeheartedly to watch this very weird, kooky, almost like a bit of a real-world Mighty Boosh piratey sort of thing that is great. And Rhys Darby's wonderful in it. He is a nobleman who has gone rogue from being noble, who wants to be a pirate, and takes, a scurvy crew who are like, oh, you're a ship pirate. And then they run into Taika Waititi's Blackbeard, and they form a weird bond. And I'll leave it there because it when I say weird, it becomes weird. But it's great. So, yeah, definitely recommend looking up whatever it's called. I think it is called This Is Our Flag. But yeah, if you can find that, just Google it and you'll find something brilliant. Nice. So, Pirates, awesome. This game presented in Dolby surround sound.
Ooh.
Remember when that was a thing?
I do.
Like when everything, if it was presented in Dolby.
And then usually there'd be that weird noise. Yeah.
And you're like,
happy days. I
must be paying a lot of money for whatever this is. That's so good. So yeah, that when this came on and I played it again, I was like, whoa, now it's going to be awesome.
Yep.
So, the idea is that you are controlling a pirate ship on the high seas. The high seas being a very enclosed lake area that has different trap doors or different ports you have to enter. And you basically are taking over other ports. I can't remember what the pirate is called in the villainous pirate in this. I don't think it ever tells you, actually. I think you have to read reviews to know all the back of the game case and I don't even have that anymore. And you are going around and basically you pick up treasure chests because pirates pick up treasure. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
You pick up maps in bottles to open up the map more. So there's a map in the main menu and it shows you where you possibly can go. And the idea is that you take over all the ports and then weirdly at the end you go on some sort of portal like at the end of Crash Bandicoot, and then that would then, I guess, move you to the next level. 20 levels, and you start off with very simple weaponry, cannonballs, if anyone needs to know about that. But you get you can fire from your broadside with 3 cannonballs, or you can fire a single cannonball out the front, and then you start to develop this very strange sort of. It's a little bit of a sort of kookiness where you get different weapons where you would have a flamethrower, which is like, you know, like
Sure.
the flamethrowers, when you get hit by the flamethrowers, they are deadly as fuck. Like, as in, and you get your little pirates, like little tiny sprites, jump into the ocean, and if you rescue them, you get some more health back, but not a lot. And you can stop yourself.
Kind of a cool mechanic, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. And you can stop yourself being on fire if you're in an area where there's a waterfall, which really is helpful.
Yeah.
If there's nothing there, then you burn for a while, and that's really frustrating because you think, I've got away from the danger, and I'm
surrounded by water.
I'm suffering. I'm suffering here, and my little dudes are jumping in the water, stressing me out quite drastically. And then you get like a weird lightning rod sort of weapon, and then you end up with weapons that combat some of the enemies that come along, which are parrots that drop bombs on you, and giant squids, and other pirate ships that are quite aggressive. I don't know they're following any sort of code.
The bastards.
Yeah. And you have to take these ports, and at the ports there would usually be stationary cannons that are spinning around and shooting fireballs at you, and it's great. There's a lot of different features to this game, and it evolves really well.
Sounds to me a little bit like you've reviewed a shmup.
Kind of, in a
like
way.
You're pretty close to it.
In a way, it's a very low-key shmup, though.
It still counts.
Yeah, I think you'd quite like it.
It's sounding quite shmuppy.
Yeah, I think you'd quite like it. And there's not much else to it other than that, really, which is probably where the negative side starts to seep in a little bit of it. Like, you do the same thing over and over, and it becomes more difficult. And I played it on medium difficulty, and I am now going to issue an apology for episode 7, I believe it was, when we recorded with Nath, and I said that easy mode was not an okay thing to do. I take that back.
Oh, wow.
I didn't go on to easy mode out of principle, but knew fine well that I needed to go into easy mode to complete this game. So I got about halfway through the game this week, and I feel like to progress any further I would have had to go on easy mode, because after about level 3 out of 20 I found it difficult. You get 2 lives, and your life bar fills up when you take a port or when you end a level, but there's no checkpoints or anything, so you can get towards the end of a level, maybe 20 minutes in, and actually start to think, oh shit, I've got a little bit of health left, I need to take this last port, I'm going to get battered. That's probably not, not good, but you get to a point where you think, it is quite hard. The great thing is in the menu, which I'd expect from this developer, everything's very jaunty and fun. So if you try to change the difficulty level, the pirate would say that. So if you put easy on, it goes ooh, and then if you put medium, it goes ooh, and then you go to hard mode, ooh. The sound effects is brilliant. And the loading screen is a parrot sat on top of a cannonball that's about to blow up when it says loading, and then it blows up, and it's a really fun game.
Nice.
I'd say graphically, it does what I'd want it to for a PlayStation 1 game. It probably still lives in that older, arcadey, spritey sort of thing rather than polygonal building, except for the water effects and the weather effects. The water specifically is like a see-through cellophane water that you are going around on. The boat itself is quite arcadey. There's no wind or rain that's going to affect how you're going around. You just basically you could be a go-kart kind of going around, really.
Yeah.
You could be sort of it's just like you're running around. You could be a human, but you're just shaped like a boat.
Yeah.
But the water effects, you can see through the water. So when you sink a ship, that ship stays there, which is great. You're kind of going over the shipwreck.
That's kind of cool.
And it's got that little bubbles come up from it, and you're like, yeah, fuck that guy up good. There you shall remain, my friend. Bottom of the ocean, or the lakey kind of area. There's little secret waterfalls you can go through to get bonus boxes as well, which is kind of cool. So there's little areas, how you kind of get in these adventure games where you sort of lean on a wall and fall through it. You can do that. It's a fun adventure game. the music's really good. It sounds like the very first levels are like Sims Vacation-y, like steel drums. Nothing better than a steel drum. My favourite instrument, I think, is steel drum. I think so.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you could get a steel drum out and pop it out in front of me, and I'd be, invariably impressed. What have I been ringing? I don't know.
I like how you make it sound like you wouldn't even have to play the drum.
No, I don't think you
You'd be
would.
impressed that it would be there.
Yeah, I think I would be. Yeah, I'm gonna go out there and say on this episode, steel drums, Faz's favourite instrument.
Okay.
It's out there on the ether now.
There we go.
So yeah, that is my quick overview of Overboard / Shipwreckers. How I feel about it, and yeah, I feel not to make it easy for you to score, but I feel pretty positive about that game.
You sound pretty positive about that game.
It's a little bit sort of, I guess, limited, and you kind of just end up doing the same thing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't, and it's one of those games that, it's not a life-changing experience. Yeah. And that's all I'm going to give you, so you can score it off that.
Noted. That sounds to me like it's an easy 6, arguably a 7, depending on the day. So I would quite happily give that a 6.
Cool. That is exactly what I gave it.
Hey.
Well done, you. Look at that. A mind meld.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's what I hope might happen with this. A concept we thought of that's kind of worked.
Yeah. Wow.
I know I was quite significantly off with yours, but apart from that... So, okay, let's talk about my things that I've got out of this game. I've got 2 lists.
Oh, what?
I've gone for a top 5 video game piracy, or pirate, and I've gone for top 5 Psygnosis games. Psygnosis?
Yeah,
/ Studio Liverpool.
Yeah.
So, don't want to labour the point on this too much, because I want our podcast to come in at a sharp hour this week. Because I like to drink after the podcast. Rich's lovely scotch. So, top 5 video game pirates. Input is welcome. If you think I've missed somebody, if you think that, you're like, oh, that's great or bad, obviously, chat up.
I think I can only name 2, so.
Okay, well, name your 2.
Guybrush Threepwood.
Yep, he's on the list.
Monkey Island.
Easy.
And, oh, wait, I can't even name him. That guy from Black Flag, Assassin's Creed.
Edward Kenway.
Yes.
Yep. Both on the list.
Cool.
Both. There we go. Exactly. Well done. That is in, both consummate pirates.
But you had another 3 pirates.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've kind of got 3.5, actually.
3.5?
So, yeah. And now, but at the same time,
Which half?
Well, you'll find out. Oh. So you kind of do a little bit of cheaty here. So Lego Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow. Okay. The thing is, I think that at this point, let's give Jack Sparrow as a character and Johnny Depp as an actor their due. That character probably is one of the best characters ever, I think, in movies.
That is a big statement.
But it's as a, what's the word I'm looking for? A specific typecasting way of playing a pirate.
I will grant you that I can't think of another actor who would do that character the same way.
You know how you do...
that.
Exactly. But if you did our survey says, what is that called now?
Family Fortunes.
Thank you very much. Family Fortunes. See, I would have got that wrong. Our survey says, what I was trying to say. So if you did Family Fortunes of a movie pirate, surely you're talking like 90 out of 100 people. I could have gone pointless here, couldn't I?
You could, but
but
here we are.
Yeah, here we are. You would think that would be the case. I feel like they are the definitive pairing of Johnny Depp / Jack Sparrow as a. You think that's what you think of. I remember that the copy I had of Pirates of the Caribbean initially was a pirate copy, and ironically...
that is ironic.
So a DVD that was a pirate copy of Pirates of the Caribbean, but I watched that film quite a lot, and I just loved it. Like I said, piracy, all about it. So, so it seems... number 2, I'm going to cheat a little bit again, not cheaty too much, but Wind Waker Link.
That does feel like a stretch.
He is a pirate in that game.
He's got a boat.
He's got a boat. He goes round.
Yeah.
He's a pirate.
Plenty of people have boats that aren't pirates.
He is a pirate. He's got a bow and arrow. Fucking pirate. He's got a sword.
All right, sure, yep.
No way. Right, okay. I'm disappointed that you didn't get on board with that. I thought on board with it.
I can see where you're coming from. I can. It's
that specific Zelda game. The only and this is what I'm going to reveal right now, and this will come back to haunt me at some point. The only Zelda game that I've played.
I've never played it. We should do a Zelda episode.
Well, we can and will, but I only have one input, and that is that Wind Waker Wind Waker is a pirate.
I would have said that other character whose name totally escapes me.
Is he a pirate?
Was more piratey.
He's probably a pirate, isn't he? Quickly onward.
Yeah.
So again, cheating. Zidane Tribal from Final Fantasy IX. Pirate. Looks like he's got silks. He's got like a what is it? A
rough
cravat. He's got a rough cravat thing going on.
Yeah.
You know, and they are a theatre company that travel in a pirate ship.
Yeah. Are they thieves or something? Are they billed as thieves in the game or something?
Well, yeah, exactly. So they're pirates.
Looting stuff and
yeah. Slash.
Right. Yeah.
Sid Highwind from Final Fantasy VII. Now I know he's not a pirate. Mm-hmm. He is a scientist who wants to go to space, but he pilots the Highwind like a fucking demon, and
bootleg DVDs in his time.
Oh yeah, but that surely the Highwind is a pirate ship as well.
Yeah,
and he acts like a bit of a pirate. Like he's.
To be honest with you, I think you're on safer ground than Wind Waker Link.
With these that's ones. Fine. But I mean, the reason they're in there is probably because there probably are more pirates out there, but they're the ones there's more pirates out there. Everyone beware. That's probably more what I've played and who I've loved as characters, and I thought they're a bit piratey. You know, that is in. I consider pirates just to be people that have got a bit of swagger.
So piracy is an attitude.
Yeah, it's a way of life, pretty much. It's not always about plundering bounty. So and then dead quick then. So top 5 Psygnosis / Studio Liverpool games.
Yep.
As I referred to at the start of this review, one of my favourite developers. Who knew until I knew?
Indeed.
Destruction Derby.
I didn't know that was one of theirs.
One of theirs.
Huh.
Wonderful. All of the Destruction Derbies are theirs. Lemmings. All the Lemmings games are all theirs. That is in, so there's Lemmings, not Lemmings. Oh no, not Lemmings again. Lemmings Paintball I for Windows 95, really? Which is a very strange concept where you have the main Lemmings game, which is fine.
Yep.
And then you have a side game where it's almost like you're playing as a lemming in a maze shooting paintballs. It's a bit like Splatoon, effectively, but back 30 years ago. You know what I mean? So,
I've never heard of that.
No, so they own all the Lemmings. Formula 1, 97, is in all that, but they had I think Formula 1 between 95, the very first Formula 1-ish game on the PlayStation, I think it was, to 2000. They did all the Formula 1 games.
Oh, right.
Also, and I remember having 97 and loving that. So, so again, something else that you didn't know, I guess, really.
I guess it kind of tracks if they were doing the Wipeout stuff.
Tracks. There we go, got it. Drink. And then, I think we've done the drink and I want more. And then finally, so last couple, Roll Cage, which is effectively just Wipeout but with wheels. So it's in.
I see what they've done here.
It's a very simple concept they've got going on. And then finally, Wipeout Pure, which I previously reviewed for the PSP, and wonderful. Obviously, you could probably insert any Wipeout game in there, I think, really. But what a studio! What a brilliant set of games that I have played and not realised they're all the same, including obviously Overboard / Shipwreckers, and found out that actually they're one of the best studios ever for me. Yeah,
I mean, I guess jokes aside for the racing games, but clearly they were able to mix it up enough to cover all sorts of bases.
So, I mean, it's great to see a developer to have a shtick, but also be able to go, we've done this,
diversify a bit. Yeah.
So, but that's where I'm at with that, and I've got no more word upon Studio Liverpool, Psygnosis, or piracy.
Get on the social media, everybody, and tell us that we're chatting shit. What are your top 5s and all that?
Yeah, we'd love that. Please give us a top 5 of bollocks.
Top 5 of bollocks.
Not top 5 bollocks. No, oh, don't do that.
Thanks for listening. What's that? 59 minutes. Perfect.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so that's us for this week, and we will resume a normal service-ish from next week. Looking at some PSP, PS Vita love, and we've got something lined up for that, but we won't tell you what that is.
Yeah.
You know, again, check us out on social media to find out what that is. So, cool. Thanks very much, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.